record on. Okay, and dear students, you're welcome to our next lecture. Today we are speaking about the next school of management. Today we are speaking about administrative management school. Okay. Okay. So, last time we spoke about scientific management school. Last time we spoke about, you might remember about Frederick Winslow Taylor, Frank and Lily Gilbreth, and Gantt. What was the main characteristic of the scientific management school? It was that they tried to increase the efficiency of workers. And they strongly believed that if they increase efficiency of every worker at some company, the general efficiency would be also increased. Uh, it is correct. Yes, every worker must perform the activities in the best way. However, and I presented this information last time, they didn't think about how to increase efficiency and effectiveness of the managerial activities. And historically, the second step of management as a science is connected with administrative school of management. The main contribution of this school is connected with selecting principles of management and functions of management. Actually, you have to divide in your conscious principles from functions. Functions of management, I do hope you remember four main functions: planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. Functions of management are the activities which must be performed by a manager. So, in other words, we can say that they are the answers to the questions what should be done by a manager. And principles of management is uh, rules, like rules. So it is the answer to the questions how the managerial activities should be performed. And today we are discussing these two main contributions from the administrative school of management. And generally, in some books, you can find that scientific management named or called as shop management. You know that in English there are two main meanings of the word shop. The shop means not only the place where you could buy some product. Українською мовою це не тільки магазин, but the shop is the department of a big manufacturing company placed in one building. Українською мовою це цех. If to translate shop management into Ukrainian, То якщо перекладати шоп-менеджмент українською, то це буде не менеджмент магазину, а це буде цеховий менеджмент. So, as I told you, Scientific Management School looked at the workers, and Administrative Management School, they tried to increase efficiency of managers. And this school is connected with the man which you can see here. His name is Henri Fayol. You should pronounce not Henry, but Henri, because he was French. So he managed to define functions of management. We will speak about it. He defined it in a little bit different way compared with the current state of art. However, he really created the basis for the current management. And now we know these functions as planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. The difference between, for example, Frederick Winslow Taylor and Henri Fayol was that Henri Fayol began not his career not as a worker, but he managed large French coal mining firm. So he tried to increase efficiency not only workers, but also his subordinates and other managers of this company. And he worked a lot at principles of management. So how managerial activities should be organized. And he managed to define 14 principles of management, and we will discuss it during today's lecture. These principles can be divided into two main areas of management. The first is rational system of administrating. So how to put not the intuition as the basis of decision-making process, but how to put the rational approaches. And the second sphere of the principles is connected with structuring the organizations. So how to create the effective structure for an organization. And it is highly interconnected with principle of unity of command, that a worker can be managed only by one manager. Actually, as you will see when we discuss organizational structures, you will see that nowadays this principle unity of command is not in use, because in effective organizational structures, a worker can be managed by more than one manager. The example of such structure is, for example, matrix structure. But I'd like to stress that it doesn't mean that Henri Fayol wasn't a good manager. He was really a brilliant manager, but nowadays management is becoming more and more complicated activity, and we need more and more complicated approaches to manage large organizations. So let's speak about the main 14 principles by Henri Fayol. The first principle is division of labor, division of work. Maybe you remember the classical example provided by Adam Smith that if a worker produced pins, so during the working day, he could produce less pins compared with the situation if the workers worked together. Може, вам не зрозуміло англійською мовою. Ви, я так сподіваюсь, пам'ятаєте з курсу мікроекономіки приклад Адама Сміта щодо виробництва булавок, що от коли він один працював, то він міг зробити набагато менше, у десятки разів менше у порівнянні з тим, як робила артель виробників. So the main idea of Henri Fayol that he used this principle of provided by Adam Smith, and he tried to explain that one of the main tasks of a manager is to divide the tasks to smaller tasks and provide and delegate to a worker only one small task. Actually, I would say that this principle doesn't work anymore. I mean, generally it works, but nowadays everybody is agreeing that we shouldn't divide the working process, the business process, into very small tasks. We have to divide working process into some chain of tasks, and every chain must consist of several links. And in this very case, a worker can understand the beginning of the business process and the end of the business process. And in this situation, he or she will be more interested in the successful completion of the task. So generally, this principle still works, but we have to change the simple task to the chain of tasks. But generally, specialization really allows individual to work more effectively. Authority. It means that everybody in the organization, every manager, I'm stressing, every manager can issue some commands, and any manager can delegate completion of some tasks. Discipline. Discipline means that it must be a rule that workers in organization must obey to managers and must obey to corporate culture of the company. So they must obey to some rules within the company. And now these okay, I forgot to add to this principle that this principle is in use, widely in use. So if you are a manager and if you ask your subordinate to do something, the subordinate shouldn't ask, why should I do it? You should do it because I am a manager and you are my subordinate, so you have to do it. Certainly, the organization, a company, any company is not a piece of army, so a subordinate can ask for some instructions, can ask why should I do it, but generally a manager can issue commands. This is the general rule for any organization. Discipline, it is also in use in any organization. Any organization has a lot of written procedures, a lot of instructions, for example, for any position. We can translate instructions for the position as посадові інструкції. And everybody in the organization has to follow these instructions. Unity of command. It means that I decided to use the same picture. It means that each worker should have only one boss. Nowadays, it worked then, but nowadays in complicated organization, in complicated system, there are possibilities that one worker has more than one supervisor. In this situation, we can increase the efficiency of our organization. Unity of direction. It means that means that it must be the general purpose of existence of a company. Nowadays, we call it as a mission statement, and this principle is also in use. We'll speak about it in details when I present you the planning function of management. Subordination of individual interests to group interests. Actually, speaking a little bit forward, it is a part of organizing function. An organization is a piece of group with conscious objectives, and all the members of the group must perform the activity to attain these conscious common objectives. And sometimes parts of the group need to avoid some personal interests to the group interests. Remuneration. It means that it is this principle is also in use. It means that everybody must have some benefits after the working process, after the completion some tasks. Generally, Henri Fayol spoke mostly about the money incentives, but nowadays there are a lot of types of incentives. There are a lot of theories, and incentives could be provided, not only external incentives, because now you can think that when we are speaking about motivating, it means that we have to provide something to that we have to provide something to the workers. But this something could be connected not only with some external benefits, but, for example, if you are providing some maybe more interesting work, it is also a part of motivating system. But actually, Frederick Winslow Taylor was the first who spoke about this principle, and and Henri Fayol decided to present this principle in detail, that everybody must have salary within a company. Certainly, it is in use nowadays. Centralization or decentralization. Actually, any company, when creating organizational structure, must choose a degree of centralization, and this degree is connected with the conditions of business. And actually, we will speak about it during the discussing the organizing function of management. Color chain or line of authority. It means that in any organization there are levels of management. If organization is rather big, you can see 3 levels of management: top management level, middle management level, and sorry, I have a lecture. Top management level, middle management level, and lower management level. Top management level means that sorry, top management level is connected with the first phases of the company. For example, if speaking about our university, the rector is the manager at top management level. Middle management level are responsible for connection top management level and middle management level. So in our university, we have vice rectors, for example, and directors of institutes or deans of faculties. And lower or operative management level, these managers are managing non-managers. At our university, for example, heads of departments. So you can see here at this picture that lower management level is communicating with workforce, with non-managerial staff. And generally, the top management has more responsibility because top management level is responsible for everything happening in the company. We will speak about it also during the discussing the organizing function of management. Order. It means that the organization must be structured. So it's not possible to let everything to be as it is. A manager should build an effective system in a company. Equity. It means that everything must be transparent in the organization. Everything must be transparent in the organization, and if everything is transparent, so nobody would ask in this situation why this worker gets bigger salary, because everybody knows that he has more responsibilities, more tasks to perform. And actually, when I saw this picture, I added this picture to my presentation, but once a student say that, you see, dear professor, it's not the equity. The equity means that all the watchers, they had to buy tickets to this football match, So they decided to watch it for free, but it's not the equity, actually. And we will speak about this principle. This principle is in use, and we will speak about this principle when discussing the motivating theory. One of the motivating theory has a name: equity theory of motivating. Ability of personnel. Nowadays, it's quite clear that to prepare a worker, we need to invest some money to the worker, to the preparing this worker. And 100 years ago, the principle was even more important than now, because nowadays we have a lot of skilled or educated personnel, and then it was a lack of specialists. And if a company couldn't keep the personnel, the company couldn't be profitable. But this principle is still in use now, that we have to keep qualified personnel. Initiative. Actually, managers cannot understand everything in the organization, just because from the working places it is more obvious. That is why we have to support initiative of our subordinates. And to support, to follow this principle of management, all Japanese companies nowadays they have red buttons near the assembly lines conveyor, and any worker can stop the assembly line if he or she thinks that something goes wrong. It means that we can share possibility to make important decisions also with non-managerial staff. And last but not least, esprit de corps, it means that any company must have corporative culture, and and if the company has corporative culture, it will help the I wanted to say in the beginning to subordinates, not. It can help all the workers from management and also from management sphere and non-managerial sphere to the company to make independent decisions. We will discuss it when we speak about the mission statement, and also during our second part of our course, we will speak a little bit about corporate social responsibility. So the responsibilities of the company are also interrelated and interconnected with corporate culture. And a company must, if the company wants to be effective, so the managers of the company must pay attention to the to building corporate culture. And the second contribution provided by Henri Fayol was the principles of management. As you can see, there is no planning as we know it now, and there is no motivation. There is a little bit another names of the principles, but if we analyze the nature of these principles, we can say that really these very principles a little bit later were sorry transformed into planning, organizing, motivating, and control. So the general contributions as the outcome from the today's information, and the general contribution of the administrative management theory or classical management school. So the biggest breakthrough was the fact that Henri Fayol tried to increase efficiency and effectiveness of managers at his company by providing them with some rules, principles of management, and by providing them description of their functions of management. So, if speaking in details, he developed principles of management. He prepared descriptions of functions of management, and generally, before him, management was just a set of some pieces, of unrelated pieces, and Henri Fayol managed to gather all these pieces into one system, which we know now as management. So this is the end for today. I'm stopping